2011, you're 28 years old, you're sitting on the back porch off a house in Clarksville, Tennessee. Tuesday afternoon, kids are riding bikes on your street. Your neighbor is mowing his lawn, the smell of cut grass and somebody's barbecue drifting over the fence. Everything exactly where you left it. Everything exactly the same. You watch a kid, maybe 7, maybe 8, fall off his bike in the middle of the road. He gets up immediately, looks around to see if anyone saw, brushes off his knees, gets back on. And something in your chest does, something you can't explain. Not sadness exactly. Not quite. Something more like distance, like watching it through a window that isn't really there. 8 years ago, you were 20 years old, you had a girlfriend named Sarah. You had a used pickup truck and a joke you told at every party, and a plan to open a contracting business with your buddy Danny by the time you were 30. Simple plan. Good plan. Then September 11th happened, and then the letter didn't come. You volunteered. This is what happened next. Your name is Specialist Ryan Cole. You're from Clarksville, Tennessee. Population 150,000. Fort Campbell is right down the road, which means half the town is either in the army or married to someone who is. You grew up watching soldiers, watching them come back, watching what it did to some of them. And you joined anyway, because it was 2001, and you were 18. And the towers came down on a Tuesday morning, while you were eating cereal before school. You watched it on a 12-inch TV in your mother's kitchen. You remember the cereal, Frosted Mini Wheats. You haven't been able to eat them since. Basic training was Fort Benning, Georgia, August. The kind of heat that makes the Vietnam guys laugh when you complain about it. You didn't know that yet. Sarah drove down for graduation, stood in the bleachers in a yellow dress. You found her face in the crowd before. You found your parents. That's the kind of thing you remember later, the order of things. You deploy with the 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, Georgia, the same division that will lead the ground invasion of Iraq. You don't know that yet either. For 6 months in Kuwait, you train in the desert and watch the news and wait. The waiting is its own kind of war. The guys in your unit are the only thing that makes it bearable. There's Danny. Not your childhood Danny, different Danny. But somehow that feels like a sign. Daniel Reyes, from El Paso, Texas. 21 years old, has a laugh that you can hear from 3/10 over. Shows you pictures of his mother's house like you've asked to see them. Which you haven't, but you're glad he shows you anyway. There's Sergeant First Class Webb, 34 years old. Gulf War veteran. Quiet in the specific way that men are quiet when they've already seen the thing you're about to see. He doesn't say much about what's coming. What he does say, he says once. You write it down that night in the small notebook you carry in your left breast pocket. He says, the plan is perfect until the first shot. After that, trust your training and trust the man next to you. In that order. Nothing else matters. He goes back to his coffee. You look at Danny, Danny looks at you. Neither of you say anything. There isn't anything to say. 2 weeks before crossing, they let you call home 10 minutes. Satellite phone. You call Sarah first. She picks up on the first ring, which means she's been holding the phone. You talk for 7 minutes about nothing important. The apartment, her sister's new job, whether the truck needs new tires. Normal things, deliberately normal things. In the last minute, she says your name, just your name, Ryan. The way she says it contains everything neither of you are going to say. You say, I'll call you when I can, she says. I know. You say, I love you. She says, I know that too. You hang up, sit with the phone in your hand for a long time. Then you go back to the tent and pack your gear for the 14th time. Danny is already asleep. You don't know how he does that. You won't sleep for another 36 hours. March 20th, 5:34 a.m. local time. The order comes through the way all significant orders come through. Quietly. No music, no speech. Webb's voice on the radio, all elements. Move out. That's it, your Humvee rolls forward, crosses the berm, the sand marker that separates Kuwait from Iraq. You cross it in about 4 seconds. 4 seconds. And you are in a war. Nobody marks it. Nobody says anything. Danny, in the seat next to you, drums his fingers once on his knee, then stops. That's the ceremony. The desert stretches north in the darkness, flat and enormous and completely indifferento the fact that 130,000 Americans are moving across it right now. To your north, flashes on the horizon. Cruise missiles, already hitting Baghdad 300 miles away. They look like heat lightning. The kind you'd watch from a porch on a summer night in Tennessee, except they're not. The chemical suit is the first thing that gets to you. Memo P gear, mission-oriented protective posture. Full suit, mask ready. Because Saddam Hussein has used chemical weapons before. On his own people, in 1988, killed 5,000 Kurds in a single morning. The suit is designed to protect you if he decides to use them on you. It is not designed for 95-degree heat. By the time the sun comes up, you are soaked through completely. The sweat runs into your eyes, your boots are already rubbing. You have, at minimum, 24 hours of this ahead of you. Probably more, probably much more. But you don't think about that. You think about the next 10 minutes. Webb taught you that. This Only the next 10 minutes. Anything further out is just weight you're carrying for no reason. Hour 2. The convoy stops. Traffic and actual traffic jam in the first hours of the Iraq War. 160,000 coalition troops. Thousands of vehicles. Roads built for nothing like this. You sit in a Humvee in the Iraqi desert and wait. Danny leans over. You know what I keep thinking about? Don't, you say. My mom's enchiladas. You look at him. We're invading a country and you're thinking about enchiladas. Red sauce, he says. She makes this red sauce that takes all day. I'm serious. Man, first thing when we get back, you're coming to El Paso. You're going to eat until you cry. Webb turns around from the front seat. Looks at Danny for a long moment. Doesn't say anything. Turns back. But you see it the smallest thing in the corner of his mouth. Not quite a smile. Something that remembers what smiling felt like. That's the thing about soldiers. They joke, especially now, particularly now. Because joking means you're treating this like something you're going to survive. And treating it like something you're going to survive was how you survive it. The radio carries reports from other units. Marine units to the east have crossed the border. Special forces are already deep inside the country. The Air Force has been bombing since before you crossed. The machine is enormous. You are one very small piece of it. One 20-year-old kid from Clarksville in a very large Machina moving north, toward a city of 5 million people who went to sleep last night in a country at peace, and woke up in a war. You try not to think about that. You think about the next 10 minutes. Hour 6. The convoy is moving again, ploughing toward Nasiriyah, city on the Euphrates. First major crossing point. The road is empty. That's the thing that bothers Webb. You can see it in his shoulders, the way they tighten when the road stays empty too long. He's been here before. Not Iraq specifically, but this the quiet before, and then the world comes apart. Not a single shot, not a warning, an ambush from a tree line to your left, RPGs and small arms, and suddenly the radio is screaming and dirt is kicking up around the tire sand. The noise is. There are no words for the noise. In movies it sounds organized, clean like a soundtrack. This is not organized. This is everything happening at the same time at full volume. Your body moves before your brain does. Out of the vehicle, behind cover. Rifle up, return fire. Meve, return fire. Webb is directing, his voice completely flat, completely level, like he's describing traffic. 2 o'clock, tree line, suppressive fire, move up. You do it, you don't think, you just do it. 18 months of training taking over the controls, while the part of your brain that grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee goes somewhere quiet and small and waits. The firefight lasts 6 minutes. Feels like an hour, when the shooting stops. The silence is physical. Like pressure releasing, Webb does a head count. Everyone is there, everyone is okay. Danny is 2 feet from you. His face is completely white under the dust. He looks at you. Opens his mouth, closes it. Looks away. Later that night, he'll make a joke about it. He'll say something that makes the whole squad laugh. But right now, in this specific moment, Danny Reyes from El Paso is nothing. And that's okay because neither do you. Webb walks the perimeter. Checks each man. Gets to you last. Looks at you for a moment with those Gulf War eyes. You did fine, he says. That's it. You did fine. It's the best thing Inyon has ever said to you. You get back in the Humvee. You push north. It's only been 6 hours. The village appears out of the desert, heat like something from another century. Mud brick flat roofs, a minaret, dot palms. Your convoy slows. You watch the village watch you. Faces in doorways. Children stopping in the road. An old man standing completely still next to a wall watching your vehicle pass, with an expression you don't have a word for. Not fear exactly, not anger, something older than both. The patient, pacific exhaustion. A people who have watched armies pass through for 3,000 years. And know that the army always has reasons, and the reasons are never really about them. A group of children run alongside the Humvee. 5, 6, 7 years old. One of them, a boy in a red shirt, 3 sizes too big, runs right up to your window, holds his hand up, palm flat. You don't know if it's a waiver, a warning, or just a chill doing what children do when something large and strange rolls through their street. Danny reaches into his pack, pulls out an MRE, holds it out the window. The boy in the red shirt takes it, looks at it, looks at Danny. Danny gives him a thumbs up. The boy gives one back. Runs. Webb doesn't say anything. You watch the village disappear in the side mirror. All those faces. All those lives completely unchanged by whatever decision was made in Washington, D.C. that brought you here. You think about the boy in the red shirt. Wonder what he'll remember about today. Wonder if your convoy will be a story he tells. Whether it'll be a good one. You hope it will be. You already know hope isn't the right tool for this job. But you hold on to it anyway. At least for now. Hour 16, the desert gets cold at night. Nobody tells you this before you come. They tell you about the heat, the sand, the dust storms that reduce visibility to the length of your arm. Nobody mentions that after a day of 95 degrees, the temperature drops 40 degrees when the sun goes down. You went from sweating through your MOP pseudo, shivering in your sleeping bag in the same calendar day. Your unit sets a defensive perimeter, half sleep, half watch, Two-hour shifts. You're on watch, staring into the Iraqi dark. No city lights out here. The stars are extraordinary. You've never seen this many stars in your life, more than you knew existed. Clarksville has too much light for this. The whole country does. You think about Sarah, what she's doing right now. It's afternoon in Tennessee. She's probably at work. The dental office on Main Street where she does reception, answering phones, scheduling appointments, drinking coffee from the machine in the break room that never makes it hot enough. She knows you crossed today. You couldn't tell her. But she knows. She always knows the radio has been carrying reports all day. Baghdad is being hit hard. The Iraqi Air Force hasn't launched a single plane. In some place, the Republican Guard is surrendering. In others, it's fighting to the last man. Nobody knows what the country will look like tomorrow. Nobody, not the generals, not the president. Definitely not you. Danny crawls up to take your position. Get some sleep, Cole? He says. Big day tomorrow. You almost say, today was a big day, but you stop, because Danny is already looking north, already thinking about tomorrow, already moving forward, and you realize that's the only direction that's available. So you go to sleep, under. Iraqi stars, 10,000 miles from Tennessee, thinking about Sarah, thinking about the boy in the red shirt, thinking about Webb's voice, flat and level like he was describing traffic. Wondering if you'll ever be able to do that, to make your voice do that. You fall asleep before you find the answer. You won't find it tomorrow either, but eventually you will. And that's the party you'll wish you could take back. 5:34 a.m. March 21st, 2003. Exactly 24 hours since you crossed that line in the sand. You're still here. Your whole squad is still here. Take a moment with that. Webb is already up, sitting on the hood of the Humvee, drinking coffee from a metal cup, looking north, always north. Danny is somehow still asleep. Feast completely relaxed, like he's back in El Paso, like none of this is happening. You pick up your rifle. Run the checks, same thing you've done 100 times in the last 24 hours. Your hands do it without instruction. The sun comes up over Iraq. Orange. Enormous. The most violently beautiful sunrise you have ever seen in your life. The kind that looks like it was painted by someone trying too hard. Except it's real. It's absolutely real. And you think, how does something this beautiful exist in the same morning as everything else? You don't have an answer. Webb finishes his coffee, rinses the cup, looks at you. Sleep? He asks. Some, you say. He nods. Looks back north. Today will be harder than yesterday, he says. Most days will be. He says it the way you'd comment on the weather. Matter of fact, neutral, no drama in it. You'll spend a long time in the years after thistering to understand how a person gets to that kind of neutral. Whether it's something you earn or something you lose, the radio crackles. All elements. Prepare to next objective, Nasiriyah crossing full north. You stand. Put on your helmet, check your gear. Danny appears from nowhere, somehow fully awake, somehow grinning. Cole, he says. When this is over, El Paso, you and me, red sauce. You look at him. You look at Webb. You look north at the road that runs toward a city, toward a country, toward whatever comes next, you say, Danny red sauce. And you walk north into the second day. Into a war that the news will call swift and decisive. That the president will declare won in 43 days. That will actually last 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. You don't know that yet. Right now you just know the next 10 minutes. Webb taught you that. Right now the next 10 minutes is enough. 2011. You're 28 years old, back porch, Clarksville, Tennessee. The kid who fell off his bike has gone inside. Your neighbor finished mowing, the barbecue smell is fading. The street is quiet in the specific way that American streets are quiet in Tuesday afternoons. Ordinary, completely unchanged. You deployed 3 times, Iraq twice, Afghanistan once. You came back all 3 times. Not all of your squad did. You're not going to talk about the ones who didn't. You already know, Danny made it. He's in El Paso right now. Has a little girl, 2 years old. He sends pictures, she has his laugh. You can tell even from photographs. That laugh you could hear from 3 tents over. He still talks about the enchiladas. He still talks about you coming to visit. You still say, yeah, of course, soon. You both know the handshake on the tarmac. Fort Stewart was probably the last time you'll touch another person who knows what that year meant. Sarah waited. That's the part that still gets you. She waited, 3 deployments, 8 years. She waited, and you came back, just not entirely, not all the way. She'll tell you years later that she could see it in your eyes moment you came through the gate first time. Something that used to be there that wasn't there anymore. She couldn't name it. Neither could you. You just knew that home didn't feel like home the way it used to. Like something had shifted in the foundation, and the walls were still standing. But nothing was quite level anymore. People ask how it was. You say fine. They nod and move on. Because they want the answer it'll be fine. Because fine means it worked. Fine means it was worth it. You let them have that. Webb retired in 2008. Lives in Montana now. You know this because Danny told you. You picture him there. Mountains, Kuwait. Something to look at that isn't a road, isn't a horizon. isn't north. You hope he found it. Whatever he was looking for behind those Gulf War eyes. You hope Montana has it. The street outside your window looks exactly the same as the day you left it. That's the thing that took the longest to understand. You thought coming back would feel like returning, like picking up something you'd set down. Instead, it felt like arriving somewhere new that happened to have your name on the mailbox. Same street, same town, different man walking you pick up your coffee. It's gone cold. You drink it anyway. 8 years ago, you were 20 years old. You crossed a line in the sand at 5:34 in the morning. Watched cruise missiles slide up a Baghdad sky like heat lightning. Watched Danny eat an MRE on the other side of an ambush. Watched Webb rinse a coffee coupe and look north. Always north. You did all of that. You came back, most of you. The part that's sitting on this porch in Clarksville, Tennessee on a Tuesday afternoon watching kids ride bikes is enough. It has to be enough because it's what you've got. And somewhere in El Paso, Danny Reyes is holding his daughter and planning enchilada sand probably. Knowing Danny, laughing about something. Same war, same mud. Same 24 hours that started everything. He held on to something you had to learn to live without. That's not a tragedy. That's just the math of what it costs. And you do it again. That's the part nobody understands when they ask how it was. You do it again. For Webb, for Danny, for the boy in the red shirt, for the street outside your window that got to stay exactly the same because you went. You do it again. Every single time.